Napoleon had at least 6 children and adopted 2. The French emperor hardly needs any further introduction. He belongs among the great names of history, such as Alexander the Great, Julius Caesar, among others. Napoleon had an eventful love life. He was married twice, first to Josephine and then to Marie Louise of Austria, and had several affairs with the most beautiful European women. All this while he was busy reshaping France according to the ideals of the French Revolution and conquering the world. Napoleon fathered or adopted at least 8 children during his lifetime. But what happened to them? Napoleon's first son was Charles Léon. Having become Emperor of France in 1804, Napoleon needed an heir to maintain the stability of the French Empire. As his wife, Josephine, had 2 children from her previous marriage, it was widely believed that Napoleon was sterile. Napoleon, smart and pragmatic, took it upon himself to see if this was the case and began an affair with the mistress. In 1795, he met the lovely young Eleanor de la Plaine, part of his sister's entourage, and, amazingly, also the lover of Napoleon's sister's husband. As Eleanor's husband was in jail, they embarked on an affair in 1806. In December of the same year, a son was born. Napoleon understood that it was Josephine, and not he, who could not have children. Initially, he wanted to legitimize his son, but realized that other illegitimate sons could also claim the throne in the future. His mistress wanted to name the child Napoleon, but he only consented to half the name, and so the boy was christened Léon. Napoleon provided an annual pension of £3,000 for his son and gave him good tutoring. He also gave him the title of Count and 320,000 francs in his will. When he was an adult, Léon was an unruly gambler, drunkard, and a troublemaker. He was often short of money. He even had to duel with one of the Duke of Wellington's aides over a massive gambling debt. Léon had a striking resemblance to his father and used his name to grab as much money as he could. While his cousin, Napoleon III, who ruled France between 1852 and 1870, was extremely fond of him, he had to stop seeing him as Léon's conduct became an embarrassment to the Napoleonic dynasty. Léon had 6 children and died in poverty in 1881. Napoleon's second child was his only legitimate son, named Napoleon II, King of Rome. In 1810, Napoleon divorced his first wife, Josephine, and married the Austrian princess Marie Louise. He dubbed her his womb, but eventually the couple grew closer. She gave birth to their only son, Napoleon Francois Joseph Charles Bonaparte. As she almost died during childbirth, Napoleon vowed to her that she would never have to give birth again. As a result of ongoing military campaigns, Napoleon spent less than 2 years with his son before being exiled first to Elba and then to St. Helena. Following military defeats, Napoleon saw his son for the first time on January 24, 1814. Although Marie-Louise wished to visit her husband, her father, the Austrian Emperor Francis II, did not allow it. Unlike his father, Napoleon II was quite tall, standing on almost 1.80 meters. While Napoleon II was heir to the French throne, his father's 1814 military defeat resulted in him losing his title and relocating with his mother to Vienna. The Austrians simply called him Franz. He wanted to become a soldier and was described as smart, focused, and mature. Being Napoleon's son, Austrian relatives, of course, viewed his burgeoning military career with concern. The young Napoleon II had an affair with the now married Princess Sophia of Bavaria, and it was rumored that Sophia's son, Maximilian, could have been his. Indeed, Sophia and Napoleon II were extremely close, and she took care of him during his last months, despite being pregnant with Maximilian I's child. Napoleon II sadly died of tuberculosis at the age of 21. Napoleon II was buried in Vienna. Surprisingly, Adolf Hitler arranged for his body to be returned to Paris and interred near his father's grave. Napoleon Bonaparte's third son was the accomplished Alexandre Walewski with the Polish Countess Marie Walewska. Napoleon met the beautiful Polish Countess Marie Walewska by chance in 1807 and was unable to forget her. After Marie's initial resistance, the two entered a passionate affair that produced a son. Alexandre was born on May 4, 1810. While it was clear that he was Napoleon's son, Marie's aging husband officially recognized him as his own. Napoleon, busy marrying the Austrian princess in 1810, sent her a gold necklace worth 20,000 francs as a birthday present. He also gave his son a large estate of 60 farms near Naples in Italy. Alexandre inherited his father's wit and became a successful politician, soldier, and diplomat, eventually serving as France's foreign minister during the reign of his cousin, Napoleon III. Much like his father, Alexander was a womanizer. He married twice and had affairs with several mistresses. He died of a stroke in 1868. Napoleon's fourth son was Eugene Von Muehlfeld, Napoleon's forgotten boy. Napoleon took a young Slovenian woman named Emily Kraus as his mistress in 1805. Since she was not only mistress and he was married to Josephine, she had to live a double life. She followed him to battles and to Paris, dressed as a boy called Felix. On May 3, 1810, their son Eugene was born. By then, Napoleon ended his affair with Emily after marrying the Austrian princess Marie-Louise on April 1, 1810. She gave Eugene up for adoption to the Muehlfeld couple, which is why he was named Eugene von Muehlfeld. He was a phenomenally successful lawyer and politician. Because of his striking resemblance to Napoleon, he was nicknamed Napoleonide. But Eugene not only inherited his father's looks and intelligence, he also got his seductive genes. Eugene had 2 children with his wife, and concurrently 3 children with his mistress. While he was a well-paid lawyer, the financial burden of looking after 2 families almost drove him into bankruptcy. Can you imagine having to eat dinner and lunch in 2 houses every day? He was a liberal politician who championed the separation of church and state and the abolition of the death penalty. He pushed for laws allowing civil marriage, a state education system, and the right of every citizen over the age of 14 to choose their religion. His funeral in 1868 was attended by more than 200,000 people. And there are 2 unknown daughters of Napoleon, Helena Napoleon and Josephine of St. Helena. Helena Napoleon Bonaparte was the emperor's daughter with his mistress Albine of Montholon, who followed him into exile on St. Helena. Although Helena looked like Napoleon, he never recognized her. She died in France, but we still do not know a great deal about her. Josephine was also Napoleon's daughter with Albine. She died shortly after her mother's return to Europe. Finally, we have Josephine's 2 sons, adopted by Napoleon. These were Eugene and Hortense Beauharnais. Napoleon adopted Eugene and Hortense as stepchildren after marrying Josephine in 1796, but did not make Eugene heir to the throne, a pity, as he was the most accomplished of his offspring. Eugene was a gifted military commander, winning countless battles for Napoleon and leading the French army's retreat from Russia. As Viceroy of Italy, he proved to be a capable administrator. He was happily married to a Bavarian princess and, after Napoleon's fall, spent his time managing his extensive estates in Munich. He died of a stroke in 1824. Hortense de Beauharnais was also adopted by Napoleon after his marriage to Josephine. He used her as a pawn in his dynastic politics, ultimately ordering her to marry his younger brother, Louis, in 1802. Hortense and Louis, appointed King of Holland by Napoleon in 1806, hated each other and were estranged. She was a talented musician and composer. Her second son, Louis Bonaparte, ruled France from 1852 to 1870 as Napoleon III. Hortense died of cancer in 1837 in his Swiss chateau.